Who's playing tonight, Don?
The Braves of New York Mets.
The New York Mets. Are you a big baseball fan?
I'm mad when the Braves are playing.
Okay. It looks like the New York Mets have a Japanese pitcher pitching now. I'm putting this mini cassette recorder right next to Dot's telephone, a stack of her telephone books. She has 3 telephone books right next to her. You know, if you look at her setup, she's got 2 phones in here and 3 phone books. You probably could guess what her favorite hobby is. That's talking on the telephone. Anyway, when I lived in Tashkent for that year approximately, really more like 9 months, 10 months, I did talk to her a few times. She never called me because she couldn't figure out the country code. I called her a few times. But anyway, it's still July the 4th, and I'm in here with my only living grandparent, Dorothy Grace. Dorothy, what's your full name?
Dorothy, Edwina, Moa, Barnett, Grace.
Is it possible for you to add one more name to that?
No, I'm fine. I don't want to marry anymore.
Okay, well, I didn't realize Edwina was in your name.
That's my mother's name.
That's your mother's name. Anyway, Dot, you're 85 years old?
I will be in a few days.
A few days, okay. Right, about 2 months, approximately.
Not 2 months, next month.
Well, July and August, the end of August. This is now the 1st of July, so about 2 months, give or take a few days. Anyway, Dot will be 85 years old, and that same day, Mark, my brother, will be 32. But can you tell some of my friends what you do here and when you came to live here with Mother? And give us a little.
I've been about 4 years.
About 4 years, okay.
And I have a good life, comfortable, and don't have much pain, but I have some bad grandchildren.
And what do you mean by bad? Now, bad is also a slang word for meaning good. Is that what you mean?
No, I don't mean good.
Okay.
They want to aggravate me, tease me. If I ask them to go get me something, they'll wait just a minute, and then wait till I get through doing this. They're not very punctual in their attendance to me.
See, now you know how or where I get my humor, my sarcasm, my facetiousness. It all comes from my grandmother. Dot, you're from the Shorterville, Alabama area. Can you tell us where that is in relation to Dothan? They know that Dothan is the largest city in southeast Alabama.
It's 30 miles north of Dothan.
And Shorterville is just a small incorporated town, is it?
It's not incorporated.
It's not even incorporated. It's more or less a community.
It's a village.
A village of sorts. You were born in Montgomery, though, weren't you?
No, I was born in Shorterville.
I know a whole lot about you, don't I?
You sure did.
Anyway, so you were born in Shorterville, but you made it to our state capital, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I worked there 2 years.
Well, what years did you work?
I worked in 1939 and 1940. Well, blacks didn't have very good jobs, and they didn't vote. They didn't ride on the buses. They had to sit at the back of the bus. They couldn't use the bathrooms with the white people. And when Rosa Parks has been on the news time after time, to refuse to go to the back of the bus.
What year was it, Dot? Is it in the 60s?
In the 50s, I think. Then that's when they brought back the blacks could ride the buses just like the white people. They could go in the restaurants and eat. They just didn't have any more segregation.
What did most of the blacks who lived during the 30s and 40s and the ones you knew in Montgomery, did they just accept that lifestyle, or did they seem resentful? Were they angry?
I couldn't tell there was any resentment there. The ones we had a few that worked where I did that were very nice, polite, and they were treated real well. But they just, the first place, they hadn't been to school much, and they were doing about as well as they could do because they didn't have an education to hold down better jobs. And they couldn't even go in the restaurant and eat. They had to sit at the back in a different room in a restaurant if they went in to get food. It was pathetic.
Maids who actually raised the children.
And anytime I needed it, I didn't use it on any certain specific times, but if I didn't feel well or don't have company, or maybe going to be putting up vegetables and things, she'd come and help me.
What was her name?
Lily.
Lily. Did she have children, and what did she do with her children in the day?
They were old enough to stay by themselves. She's still living. She lives in Florida. She came to see me not too long ago. And she was crazy about my daughter. Donna, she kept on when she was little.
So what kinds of things would Lily do around the house,
Well,
especially in raising a mother? What would she do?
Well, she just watched her, just like I did. She let her go out in the yard. She watched her out the window to see that she was all right every minute. Every afternoon she'd put her in the tub. There was a little store not too far away from my house, and Lily would dress her up in a little clean outfit and take her over to the store, and they'd get them a bar of candy and a Coca-Cola a piece, you know.
How much did a Coca-Cola cost at that time?
Coca-Cola was a nickel and candy was a nickel. But then she left us go because she got that little treat, that break.
Did now you and Granddaddy Victor had some fishing ponds, didn't you? You didn't have any. Where did you go fishing? You used to
We
do
went
that
on the backwater.
And did you ever take Lily? Did she ever go with you?
No, we didn't move to Florida before then.
Okay.
We had a boat and had a seat with an umbrella. We had just wonderful times up there. Don didn't go up there with us because she was off, in school.
Where was she going to school at that time?
I think Justin probably.
And
Don never did go fishing with us on that boat.
How often would you go fishing?
About twice a week.
And you'd catch what kinds of fish?
I'd catch about 10 or 12, they call them crappie. Victor, I always beat him. I always caught more fish than he did.
The days you go fishing, did you have a fish fry or did you?
No.
Okay, her phone's ringing. We'll mash pause and we'll get back to you in a second.
Okay, well listen, I'll let you guys go. I'd love to keep talking into your tape recorder there, but I've got to drive back. We'll be home in a few minutes.
Okay, bye. Dot didn't realize I was going to pick up the phone and record their intimate conversation, but talking about your fishing and the fact that you would go out and you catch crappie. You call them more than one? You say crappies or just crappie?
Crappie.
You wouldn't necessarily have a fish fry. You would just.
No, we'd clean them and put them in the freezer and have it in there too. We wouldn't eat them at 15 minutes after.
So would they spoil after a day or two? You had to eat them?
Had to put them in the freezer.
I know, but how long could you have kept them in the freezer?
You could keep them a long time. They wouldn't be as good.
The sooner you had them, the fresher they
more
taste.
like they taste like they just come out of the water.
How many years ago did you move into this house?
About 4, somewhere around 4.
And do you want to share what I did? You said that I was a major factor in your coming out here. I know you've told this tale many times. I don't know. I think it gets further from the truth each time you tell it, but
I think your mother put you up to it. One Sunday afternoon, I was sitting there minding my own business, and you came in with your big Bible. Could hardly carry it, it was so big, and read some scripture about what God wanted that parents should be taken care of, and the children should see that they have a good life and be good to them and provide for them. And I said, just kept on till I finally told them I'd come. Well, I just got attention that got my food, brought in on trays, and because I couldn't go up steps, I cannot just go up a step. And this attention got somebody to come in and see about my clothes and help me with my baths. And so I'm just like being in a nursing home, except I have my family with me. Don't have to depend on strangers.
Now, don't you have a network of friends that you spend a lot of time talking to on the phone?
And they're about as bad a shape as I'm in, so they don't travel.
What, you, on a daily basis, you work a puzzle out there. Can you explain what that is and what your daily ritual is? Because I know if you don't get your morning newspaper, you call the publishing company, you call the mayor of the town, you call me, you call Mother, you call everyone just to make sure to go get your paper. Can you tell us what your daily ritual is and what that's done to keep your mind sharp over all these years?
I have 3 puzzles every day in the paper to work. I'm not as interested in them as I used to be, because I had so much interruption with people coming in like this help comes in. But we compare. I have a friend that if she can't get the puzzle, she'll call me, and I'll give her some clues. If I can't get it, I'll call her. We have help like that, and then we all have TV shows. Some of the soaps I look at. They know what a soap is.
Yeah, they watch soap operas too, especially. I think they were watching Santa Barbara. That was one of their shows, and they have some Russian and some Indian soap operas, but you like The Young and the Restless?
Young and the Restless is my favorite, and I put several. I don't look at but two anymore. And play with Rusty. He's our little dog. Crazy about him. And because these grandchildren, they're pleasure and of trouble.
Pleasure and trouble.
Pleasure when they're sweet, and then when you get ornery sometimes. Ornery means...
You think that you get ornery?
I don't think I do.
You don't think you do? Okay, I won't have to comment on that, but I think the student will understand what's going through my mind right now. And she has some wonderful paintings of herself and of Granddaddy Victor right behind her in an oval frame. Very beautiful. Can you tell us the history behind those pictures, Don? Who painted those?
I had them, those were made in Montgomery about a month before we married, and he carried mine home with him, and I had his up there with me. And then when, of course, we married, well, we put them side by side.
Well, that's an interesting concept. That was, who came up with that idea?
I did.
That's interesting. What else can you tell us? We've talked about your baseball and your love for the football, the Alabama Crimson Tide. I've talked about that before.
They're going to be in a minute.
Yeah, they're on the way. We've got plenty of time, Doc. What advice could you give? You always try to give me advice about getting married.
Tell her to watch every move you make. And if it's the first time you stepped out of line, get her rolling pin and give you a good working over. Be sure that you love her and that she loves you. Because if you don't have that, you can't have a happy home. That's got to be. And be sure that you have rules, that you what you admire in a wife, and y'all talk about it more than one time. This old saying I heard is don't ever go to sleep mad. Always try to make up. (1975).
1975. And you remember the month?
September.
It was in September. And how old? Now, he was 10 years older than you.
Yeah, he was 72.
72, so he lived a long life. But did he have a stroke?
No, he had an aneurysm.
A brain
That may be a
aneurysm?
form of stroke.
Okay. And then how soon after that did you move? Now, Mother and Dad got divorced in 1978. Is that correct?
Well, I moved to Headland in 1976.
Okay, and you moved in part because you were by yourself
Yeah,
in the country.
it was dangerous to be so far away from everybody.
Right, but you also moved to Headland because you knew Mother needed you. At that time, were you aware that she was experiencing some trouble in her marriage? Okay. So you didn't. So you moved near the First Baptist Church.
And near the school. And all y'all would come, somebody spend that with me several times during the week.
Place the poached egg
on toast,
on top of toast, and then you'd slice it and into fours.
Light bread pudding, what y'all like.
And what is light bread pudding?
I'll put toast in the oven, and then get it browned just a little bit. Then cut it in little strips, and put it in a dish and put the butter, and sugar, and a little flavoring, and milk on it, and let it brown.
Yeah, that's Mother's song. We won't get it. Maybe they'll call it in here. But anyway, so then you let it brown, and then it was ready to
Made
eat.
it pudding, it's real good.
Dot, what's been the most rewarding experience you've had in your lifetime?
When Donna was born.
Okay. Expand on that a little bit.
We've been married about 6 years before we had a child, and her daddy was, I guess, more thrilled than I was. And then when she came, she was just like me. And the doctor said he'd delivered hundreds of babies, and she was more like her daddy than anyone that he'd ever delivered. You know, that just thrilled him beyond words.
Now, did you already have the name Dinah picked out?
I picked it out after I got pregnant.
And what kind of input did Granddaddy Victor have in that? Or did he let you?
He let me do it.
Okay. He knew to let you. He was pretty laid back when it came to things like that, wasn't he?
And so I came home on the ambulance, and that was unusual back in those days. And I just got the best of attention.
How much did Mother weigh when she was born?
8 pounds.
8 pounds. Was it a hard delivery?
A week.
A week while you were in the hospital for a week?
Mm-hmm.
Did they give you
They couldn't even give me anything.
what do they call it, an epidural now? They didn't give you anything?
They didn't even know what that was.
So there was no painkiller at all. Was that true even in the Lord City?
Well, I didn't have anything. I don't know whether they had any or
You
not.
wanted the natural childbirth.
No, I didn't want it, but they
They didn't
was
have, there was
afraid
a shortage of...
they knew that I just had to be alert and everything. I had to do what I was supposed to do.
Because it was your first
Mm-hmm.
baby. Okay, that's understandable. You say a word to Bahadir, something about the bracelet that Bahadir's neighbor gave to Bahadir. Then Bahadir, actually, you bought it, Bahadir, and gave it to me to give to my grandmother, but she wants to give you a word of thanks. So here's Dot. Say Bahadir. Okay, Dot, the floor is yours. You can say what you need to say.
Well, I just want to send my special thanks for my beautiful bracelet to Bahadir and his mother. And I had told Ed, and I hoped that he would bring me a bracelet, a pretty bracelet from there. And he did, and I do appreciate it. And it looks nice on my arm. It's beautiful.
Dot, do you think you'll ever go with me over to Tashkent? I mean, what would it take for you to go over there with me?
In the first place, I'm never going to get an airplane. And I can't walk on the water. And I can't fly. So I won't ever go.
Okay, well, I'll try to take a video camera if I ever do go back. I know you probably don't want me to go anymore, do you?
No, I didn't want you to go the last 2 times.
Okay.